From the World Wide Web, this is Reflections of a Rabbi.
One drop of honey makes a world of difference. One drop of honey makes learning sweet. Add one drop of honey to Talmud Torah, and you've got a team that can't be beat. All starts with the children. Open minds and smiling faces.
2010, here we come. Another new year, a new decade. What's it going to bring? What joys, what challenges, what tragedies? And more importantly, perhaps, how are we going to respond to those joys and those challenges and those tragedies? You know, in Parshat Vayechi, the Torah portion of this week, there's an amazing moment of faith. Joseph's brothers and his father have now come down to Egypt. Joseph has revealed himself to them, and the brothers, knowing what they did, knowing the harm that they caused him, they say, "We are now prepared to be your slaves." And Joseph's response is amazing. Listen to this. He says, "Don't fear. Am I a substitute for God? Besides, although you intended me harm, God intended it for good, so as to bring about the present result, the survival of many people." Joseph had been dealt a lousy hand, but he didn't see it in that way, even though his brothers who had dealt him the hand saw it that way. Joseph was able to see the joys and challenges and tragedies that he had encountered in his life through God's eyes. Joseph was able to recognize that there was a higher purpose to everything that happened, to him, to his family, and to his people. I don't know what the coming year has in store for me or for us, but I do wonder what it would look like if we could look at what's to come through God's eyes. How would that be different than if we were to look at life's daily challenges through our own eyes? The struggles, the pains, and the triumphs. What would our lives and the choices that we make, the people that we befriend, the words that we speak, the actions that we do, what would they all be like or look like if we were able to see the world as Joseph does, through God's eyes? If we knew that we were part of a plan, that we were part of God's vision for the world, if we had a unique and powerful role, what would our actions, our words, and even our thoughts, our intentions, what would they look like? How would they be different? I don't know if I or any of us can have the faith of Joseph to be able to say, even when faced with really horrible, horrible things, that God has a plan, that this is the way that it should be, and that there's goodness even in tragedy. I'm not sure that I or anyone else can say that. But I'd like to imagine that in this new year, that we might come a little closer to that faith. That we might perhaps be inspired by Joseph to search for that faith, even if we're unable to find it. The search itself, the search to be able to see God's world through God's eyes, to be able to see ourselves through God's eyes, is a voyage and a search worth taking. I wish you all a happy and healthy 2010. May it be a year in which all of our successes, all of our struggles and challenges, and even our tragedies, may they all be for the good in God's eyes. Until next time, Lehitraot.